The man had just demonstrated his ability to follow his words. He was knocked unconscious and tied up on the top floor. Dazhuang pointed a gun at Rhubarb. He threatened to make him read out his wish list. Otherwise, he would send him to the northwest. He had no choice but to take the list in his hand and look at it. There are more than 1,000 items on it. The contents of the list are even more bizarre. The first one was to make all men except Biggie turn into big duck claws with big ears. The next one is to make a guy turn into a ton of gold. The third one was to make the FBI uniforms pink. However, everything is still going on. On the other hand, when the girl arrived at the company, she found that her boss was very kind to her. He even gave her an office and a big desk. Looking out the window at the beautiful scenery, the girl realized that what he said was true. He rushed home but found his house in a mess. But there's no sign of him. The girl soon realized the seriousness of the problem. He took out the key that Biggie gave him when he was chasing him. He rushed out of the house to rescue him. She bumped into Fat Tiger, his friend. It turned out that he had used his supernatural power to make his female colleague obsessed with Fat Tiger. Fat Tiger had been tormented for a long time and wanted to find him to break the spell. So the two of them rushed to rescue him. When they passed by the street, the whole world has become a mess. The people have turned into Voldemort. At that moment, the boy's wish list had not yet been read. Chunky heard a girl's voice from outside the door. So he read the last item. To make the girl fall madly in love with him unconditionally. This wish was madly rejected by the girl. Although he was reluctant, he endured the humiliation for the sake of his dog. The girl really fell in the next second. She looked at him with deep love and pounced on him. And he took this opportunity to tie himself up. Then he turned him into a dog. And then finally, to set things right, the girl and everything around her is back to normal. The people who were confused by the guy's magic turned around and left. And after seeing the guy's magic, the girl thought that she might have been controlled by the magic. So she got angry and left. The next day, he went to find the girl, but the girl said she couldn't stay with him, because she wasn't sure whether she was with him out of love, or was she just being controlled by him? After being rejected, he went back to his room and began to think about himself. He thought the girl was right. He has so much power, but he only wants to make himself well. He should make the whole world happy. So he wished for world peace and a halt to global warming. But the next moment he turned on the TV. All the countries are blowing up without even a reason. The Earth's temperature went straight back to 500 million years ago. The guy was freezing in his room. He felt useless. Finally, he decided to kill himself. Yellow kept trying to persuade him, but he finally jumped off the bridge. To his surprise, Yellow jumped off the bridge with him. The dog and the man floundered in the water. In the end, he couldn't bear to let go of Rhubarb and hugged him to the shore. But he was still depressed. Rhubarb looked at the boy who was worried about magic and suggested, if he's really at a loss for what to do with his powers, he can give them to himself. He thought it was all the same. So he passed it on to Rhubarb. Yellow's first wish was to destroy the people who created the power. Thanks to the wisdom of Rhubarb, the aliens' plan to destroy the Earth fell through. After all this, he suddenly woke up from his dream. It turns out that everything was a dream. Then he saw the girl again. He nervously asked her if she'd like to have dinner with him. The girl turned around and went back to the house as cold as before. Just when he was sad, the girl suddenly showed her head. And that's the end of the story. If you had this kind of power, what would you use it for? See you next time.